designed to inspire, educate, and empower young adults around the world. Welcome to the Monday Inspiration Show. Hello, my friends. Today is Monday, and if it's Monday, we have again inspiration. My name is Jonathan Guriano, and welcome to the Monday Inspiration Show. Today, we have a special guest in the house. Please helping me to welcome him. I didn't see him for a very long time. He is a personal development coach. He's a founder and creator of the Simply Greg Show. And he is a person that truly inspired me. He's very inspirational. And he's a person that is passionate about people and growth, about community. And today he's here in our show to inspire us, educate us, and the main thing, empowering us. Please help me to welcome in the show, Greg. Welcome to the show, Greg. And thank you for coming.
Pleasure. Thank you very much for having me today.
Thank you for accepting our invitation. I was wondering about that for a long time. I didn't know how to put it out there, how to ask you if you accept or not. So it's an honor to have you today in the show.
Pleasure.
I've been interviewed by you a few years ago, and since then, many people are asking me where I've been, what I did, who was that person.
Yeah.
So today is a chance to find more about him and actually to see who is Greg behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So for those that listen to us out there, who is Greg in a few words and what he does?
Yeah. So me, as you mentioned, I'm a personal development coach and radio host. So my aim is just to elevate the mind and inspire the community by spotlighting the hidden gems in our community. So people like yourself, that a lot of the community were not aware of at first, but by having you on the show, so you share your story, it enabled a lot of people out there to get a better understanding of who you are. So that's my aim. I always support the underdogs, as they say it, giving them the empowerment necessary to go out there and share their story. So
I like something that you mentioned. It's very, very powerful. I tried to say it again because that's what I believe for our listeners will be very important out there. He said, elevating the mind and inspiring the community, right?
That's it.
Did you hear that? It's such a powerful words. Elevating the mind and inspiring the community. Now, first question, how do you elevate the mind? What do you do to work on your mind?
Okay, personally myself, I make sure, apart from like reading books and, acquiring knowledge, first thing I do in the morning is just make sure I start from a position of peace.
Wow.
Because,
I like that.
if you start with all the conundrums and everything going on around you, you're never going to be at your greatest strength. So I start from a position of peace first and meditate and just be very calm so that I plan my day ahead. And rather than allowing the day to go ahead of me, I actually think about and meditate how I want my day to go, so that I'm in control of my day rather than my day being in control of me.
Wow, that's powerful. You're already in empowering. After 2 minutes of the show, hey, it's Greg, yeah? He always does that. So cool. Ever seen start from the peace point, right?
Yeah.
Wow. I never thought about
Everything.
that. So it's definitely built based on that, right?
Yeah.
I've been working on myself last year on the inner peace. So I can relate to that, which is so powerful. And I believe if you have that, doesn't matter what's happening out there.
That's it.
You still can hold yourself on
That's
that.
it. That's
which is, this is so, so powerful. Now, how you say elevating the mind, inspiring the community. What do you do to inspire the community?
Well, the way I see it is especially when we're in a setting like this, like a talk show or something like that. I remember my first interview that I went to. I sat down and had to write everything that I wanted to actually share in order to empower and make that impact. Reason being is because where there's a lot of words being used, sometimes it can be words that just go away. And there can be a lot of talk, So I had to identify exactly what I do in order to empower people, or first and foremost, what is necessary. Elevating the mind is basically giving people information and knowledge to take them from one way of thinking into the next level of thinking.
I like that.
Yeah. So that means it's acquiring new information. It's giving them new information first, because if you're not aware of something that you're not aware of, you wouldn't know what to do. Because you only do what you know to do until someone gives you new information. So when you give someone new information, you now elevate their mind from one stature to another level. Right? And then the empowering of the community is basically showing them examples of how you can actually come out of your current situation in order to obtain the success that you're hoping for. Now I've empowered you to be able to
be able to.
continue and do what you're
I
hoping
like
to
that.
do.
So basically, you focus on the impact that you want to
That's
create,
it.
and responsibilize people and delegate it to carry forward those things that you want to implement in the community.
That's it.
You mentioned that sense of community. My exactly where Greg is coming from. Let dig a bit. Go back in when you were a teenager.
Yeah.
What was the first impact with the community? Because there might be a value
Yeah.
that you want to develop on the
Yeah.
way. Yeah. So tell us a little bit of a first approach on the community and where it's coming from and how did you develop this sense
I
of
think,
belonging?
yeah, thank you very much. That's a good way. I mean, for me, it was further down the line, you know, when I was going through my own personal transformation, right? So when I was going through my personal transformation from being like on the wrong side of life and things like that, and I went more into the corporate or professional world and started working. And when I started working and further down the line, I became a sales manager. And I saw a lot of people that I was talking to at work. They kept on asking me, Greg, how do you do it? How do you know how to maneuver well within a corporate industry? And, you're a young guy and then straight away you're a sales manager and like, and a lot of people used to just ask me like, a lot of questions. And I used to talk to them and kind of advise them of how to basically navigate their way in a professional kind of realm. And what I found from them is like one guy was telling me, Greg, every time you talk to me, it's like you're talking to me about life and impacting me.
Wow.
And I didn't notice that because with me, when I was younger, I like being just personal, just myself, keep myself, stay away from me.
Yeah.
I'm okay, just
Exactly.
like, you don't need to know what I do. You don't need to know
Yeah.
where it comes from.
Who
You
am
don't need
I?
to know anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just know he's there,
me.
he's fine, he looks good.
Yeah. Perfect.
Exactly. So it's when I went through my own personal transformation, and especially when, from not really walking with God in my life, and then later on, accepting him in my life, and that's where everything happened. And for me, it was like being in the most difficult circumstances of life. I remember when I was put in a position where it was either I was going to go to jail.
Right.
Or go to jail. That's the only options. Either go to jail or go to jail. So I remember being in that in a position where I sat down and I was talking to God and I was like, okay, if you let me out of here, I'll turn things around and I'll go out there and be a positive role model. Wow. But if you let me go to jail, then I'm just going to be worse than ever before. Wow. So that's exactly
the way it started. That's
it started from there. And I remember having a court case, and the judge was like, there's a lot of potential to you, and you shouldn't be here. So the judge let me off. I was 19 at that time, 19 or 20 or something like that. Yeah.
Wow. Well, you're still very young, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
But thinking back to 19 years old, literally now, right here, what would be one thing you will tell to Greg at 19 years old right now?
Yeah.
If you have to say something to him, what would you say right now?
The world is bigger than your circumference.
I like that, man.
Yeah. The world is bigger than your surrounding. The world is bigger than your environment.
Wow.
Because
at that time you were in your head, right?
That's
why I believe from now you can see that Greg trying to do something or actually saving his life or fight for his freedom and everything, that he didn't know that the world is bigger than his surroundings. So it's something very, very powerful that you tell yourself. I ask this question because most of the time people are struggling to talk to themselves in that way. The self-dialogue has to be very positive and empowering. But going a little bit even back, let's start with a bit more. I like this. I like the way you say it and how you say things, because for you, in order to become who you are today, you've been through a journey that matters a lot to you, and that's why you are who you are today, because you learned so much through your life experiences, and you want to give back. You say you want to inspire the community, and mainly you want to teach people to elevate their mind, right? This is what you did. So going a little bit even backwards in time, I like to travel back in time. I'm a traveler.
How far are we going?
Let's go back when you were really a teenager, 10, 12, 15 years.
Yeah.
How did you see life in that time, and where were you in the stage, who you wanted to become? How was your life pretty much at that time?
Yeah, I mean, at that time it was my life was actually framed by the environments that I lived in. I remember even going to school and because a lot of people in the school knew my older brother. So as soon as I came in, the teachers were like, "Oh, you're just gonna be like your older brother.
You
You're
got
just gonna,
etiquette.
yeah. You're gonna, you're gonna be excluded like your brother. You're gonna this and like, But the thing about me when I was young, I was always very astute and very smart. I was always
Right.
in the higher tier classes.
Wow.
And somehow it's just the teachers didn't really understand me much. And the friends I had around me were just friends of whom were in my neighborhood and my environment.
Right.
And I just so happened to know them before I knew anything else, So it's those are how I grew up. Obviously, growing up in a council estate, you don't really choose where exactly you live.
Not too
You
much.
don't say I want to live
No
near
options.
Buckingham Palace next to the
Not
Queen,
much
and
options.
higher etiquettes.
Yeah.
It's just like you live there and you grow up there, and then because you live there and you grow up there, it's the norm for you to be in that environment.
Right.
And you have that healthy relationship with people around there based on loyalty, based
Right.
on
Sense of
people that-
belonging
yeah,
because
a
you're
sense of
living
belonging
there.
and things like that.
Strong.
And then you go to school and they end up being the same kind of individuals there.
values.
So that
Influence was very powerful.
yeah, exactly. So
What was I like the way you related to your school experience. What was the one thing you've been learning from school? What you took away from school? What you took
Okay.
away that helped you in life?
one of the things that I took away from school
Yeah.
that really showed me that a lot was possible, and I didn't really know from there, was I remember in year 7, year 8, and year 9, I was always in the higher tier classes, right? And then year 9 now, they saw that I was misbehaving a little bit, so they dropped me down a few sets, right? And even though I went into the lower sets in the lower classes, what happened internally with me at that time, like, really showed me that there's a lot more to me. Reason being, because even though I was in the lower tier classes with the lower sets, I sat there and I was seeing some of my friends throwing paper around and acting the fool and things like that. And I was just like, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be in the higher classes. Like,
Yeah, on the
this
top.
is, I like the jokes. I like mucking around. I
Yeah,
like all of that. But at the end of the day, I'm also smart, so I belong in the higher tier classes and that's what I want to do. So I remember they were telling me year 8, year 9, they're telling me I'll get excluded like my brother. And my brother got excluded in year 9 or year 10. And year 9, they dropped me down to the kind of naughty classes. And from there, I said, no, I'm going to work my way back up.
Oh.
Year 10, I managed to work my way back up
Super.
into the higher classes. And then by year 11, I was actually promoted to be one of the prefects.
Wow.
Yeah, so
you-
that showed me that you can be someone who comes in school
Yeah.
and you're labeled as the bad child or
Yeah.
the naughty kid, but you can literally transform everything
Yeah.
that you now become a representative of the
Wow.
school. And I was a prefect.
That was a lot. That was a lot of the time. So it looks like your childhood was a big adventure.
That's it.
Like literally an adventure. You
I
went
think-
from there to there to there. You changed so many things.
That's it. And I think if I'm totally honest, it's the framework of what happened while I was at school
Yeah.
that really shaped everything else later on and helped me, because I gained my strength from there.
Yeah.
You can imagine being at school, you're about to be excluded,
Yeah.
right? Or you're like one of the worst kids, and then you're still so smart, but then they
Shift it.
shift it all around. And not just that, I remember one of the times I finished the class and I was probably like the last one to come out of the class, and the teacher stopped me and she said, Greg, like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I don't know. She's like, Greg, the thing with you is you've got a lot of leadership qualities. I was like, what? Like, and I'm young. I've got my backpack. I'm just trying
Yeah.
to get out of
You
class
know,
now.
you know.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get out
Yeah.
of class. And then she was like, Greg, the thing with you, you've got a lot of leadership qualities. She's like, look at your friends. They don't listen to anyone, but they listen to you. Wow. And he was like, well,
that's
she's like,
powerful.
literally, and she's like, I want to put you down as prefect. I was like, who? She's like, yeah, I want you to be a prefect. I'm like, to me, it's like prefects are like those goody things. Everyone's
like
just, you've been
studying.
perfect,
Yeah.
the whole time at school. So I was like, me? Come on, like,
You can't do that.
She's like, no, you'll be a good prefect, because I think, a lot of the people in school listen to you and they respect you and things like that. I was like, look, do what you're doing.
Wow.
I didn't believe anything. And then she put down my name, and then all the other teachers were ticking next to her and saying, yes, yeah.
Did you help?
Yeah, and ticked. And then next, it was assembly and they're saying out the names and you've got all these kind of goody two-shoes or everyone who was perfect.
Wow.
And then they say Greg and all my friends are like,
Yeah, they start behind me, like,
just like, yeah, like, what am I doing? So, and I went up and I remember even one of the most profound things that happened for me was when there were other people that I used to look up to who are much older than me, who were in the school before. And these guys here, like one of the guys I remember, he used to drive a motorbike to school. He used to have like, this is like 15, 16 and everything. So, and I remember he came back to the school and he came to talk to me, and you can, from, even though there was a small dialogue, which wasn't much, I was impacted by that because he came back and I remember he came to me and said, Greg, I heard you're a prefect. And I said, yeah. And then he looked at me and he said, yeah. I said, yeah.
Wow.
He didn't say much.
He
didn't say much.
The fact that he came to you.
He didn't say much. The fact that he came,
Yeah.
and I can see it in his eyes while he was talking to me, like, I heard you're a prefect. And then it's kind of like, even though he was able to achieve a lot in terms of everything that I was trying to achieve as well, being in the streets in the wrong culture, I mean, coming into school, like with a big R1, R6 motorbike, coming with teachers don't even have that, you know?
Yeah.
And then, but yet when he looked at me and he's like he was proud, I saw in his eyes a sense of pride, that he was really proud of me to be able to achieve something that he was not able to achieve. And that showed me there, in that small moment, it showed me that I can actually achieve things outside of the normalities of what I was aspiring for, that these individuals can achieve. That there's a higher ranking level of what you can achieve, which is beyond the street credibility.
Exactly. Wow. It looks like so transformational, your journey. And it continued afterwards, right?
Yeah.
What happened when you get, because the transformation continued, right?
Yeah.
When you get into real world, you got a job, you become a sales manager, you were thinking you were someone, right?
Yeah.
But where was the moment, literally, or exactly when you did really start to talk to yourself and saying, I want to work on purpose, or I want to find my purpose, or I really found my purpose? What was that? What triggers that?
I tell you, that was a pinnacle moment, which I really love. And that moment was when it was a very impactful moment of which I remember I was in a position of which I can actually go one way or the other in life.
Oh,
right. Yeah, okay. There was a fork in the road, so I can either go one way or the other. And I remember this so well because it was very profound. Because I remember I got to a stage in my life where I just wanted to be successful. Yeah, I didn't know how, but I knew I just wanted to be successful. Period. Yeah, and I was willing to commit myself to that. Yeah.
Wow.
So I remember it came to a point now which I just felt like I've been let down by society, the systems and community and everything like that. Because I remember even when I was in a position where I was just about to be homeless, went to the system, they couldn't support me. They was like, okay, look, you look good, you go to the gym, we can't help you, can't give you a house. I was like, what? You can't do things. So I was like, okay, I'm going to take matters into my own hands now to make my success happen. And I remember I came into a position in which I was able to, I had a deal in front of me, which, with certain individuals around me, which can actually bring me a return of roughly 7,000 a week in terms of, at that age. And I was like, 19, 20 or something like that, so 7,000 a week. And I remember at that time now, even though rapidly where I was at that time, things escalated quick to, where I was. And I remember going back home and thinking about it. And I had to sit back and think about it. If I decide to take this deal or this offer, yes, it's a lot of money, 7,000 a week. Yeah, we're looking at, but then again, you can't turn back round from that. Yeah, because you will be so ingrained into that, that will be part of your life, that everything else that comes from that, you can't disconnect yourself from it, because the people that are going to be connected, everything else that is involved, you can't just disconnect. So I looked at that and I remember going back home, and what I was reminded of now was all the things that the teachers were saying about me. Do you remember that? She was saying that you're very smart, that there's a lot more than things like that. So I remember sitting down and I thought to myself, I literally done the calculations. I remember that well. I went home, sat down on my desk. I'd done the calculations. If I continue in this route, yes, I can make 7,000 a week. And how much does that go into? And I'm 19 or 19, 20, 21. Then I thought to myself, okay, cool. What if I go the other way? What is possible?
Wow. That was a start.
So, yeah. So that was the start, because I looked at it. If I go this way, yes, it will look good and I'll make a lot of money and this, that, and so forth.
Yeah.
But then it'll come to a point where there's 10 years down the line, where 10 years, 15 years or whatnot, you will get caught.
Yeah.
Something will happen and it's a spider web, right? Something small will just something.
Chunks.
Yeah, exactly. And then if things go wrong, what will happen is that you're looking at roughly 10 to 20 years in jail. Yeah. So let's take away 30 years now, 10 years that you've done, which you've got away with it. And then you finally get caught by one thing, then you've got 20 years in jail, because that's not small things that of
course.
exactly. 20 years. So you're coming back when, you're like 40 or something like that.
Yeah.
So imagine at that time, maybe I've got a wife and kids or a missus or something.
And
I'm coming out of jail and I have to start again.
yeah.
So that means everything that you had before, like, don't watch the movies. The movies show you, oh, they're getting away with it. Look, you're having to start again, because everything you ever had before is state property, because you can't show how you've been paying taxes.
Exactly.
So therefore it now belongs to the state.
Yeah.
So I calculated all of that. Then I calculated on the other hand, and I looked at it and I was like, okay, what if I decided to focus on something? What if I decided to develop something? What if I decided to build something?
Why?
No longer do I need to invest now in the wrong product, but I can invest that in the right product.
Exactly.
And what now that decision for me was, I'm going to focus on developing myself. Reason being is because as you keep investing in yourself, you increase your equity.
Wow, listen, this is powerful.
Yeah.
Wow.
As you increase your learnings and everything within yourself, you increase your equity.
Wow.
Everything else that comes out of you now is a resource from obviously that investment that you've made, right?
Value, yeah.
As you do that now, there is no glass ceiling. You can't be stopped.
Exactly.
It's not like you can get to a certain point because you're involved in the wrong kind of things. There's a capacity. There's no capacity.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So I now realize that the biggest thing that I can ever invest in is myself, or most importantly, my name.
Yeah.
Because if you invest in your name and you put value in your name, you can take your name to the bank.
Yeah.
You can take your name to the bank.
Yeah.
Trump was bringing his name to the bank.
Exactly.
Right? You may not have nothing, but you've got your name, which means what kind of character are you?
Yeah.
That now got me to
value.
focus on character. So it wasn't only what I'm building in myself to become this person. It's more, are you trustable?
Yeah.
What character do you have? Do you actually say you're going to do something and do what you say you're going to do? Do people trust you? All of those things are really important, because if you don't have a dime to your name can save you.
Wow.
Because people have dealt with you.
Yeah. Wow, this is powerful. I believe if you want to take this away, we can even stop here now. It's so powerful. If you take this away, it will help you to generate more wisdom and more value in your life. I believe you already passed through the inspirational. You already are empowerment. I let you saying things and develop because I didn't want to interrupt you. I was like, wow, this is powerful, because when you get in the flow, you don't want to stop that flow, right? So you came to a point where you had to choose, right? The fork on the road, and you have to decide. Now, a question that mattered to me a lot is, how does it feel right now to work on purpose?
I think it feels great. It feels great. Reason being is because what happens is that when you walk in purpose in itself, I mean, just to let you know some of the stages I had to go through, there's 3 particular things that I normally teach everyone to actually go through, that I had to go through in my own journey in order to be free of every other kind of influence for myself. Number 1 is coming to the knowledge of who you are.
Who you are, right?
Yeah, you have to first come to the knowledge of who you are. Remember, I said you only do what you know to do until you know more, right? Yeah. So if you don't know who you are, you would never operate to the stature of what you're capable of doing, because you don't know who you are. If you don't know that you're a lion, you'd walk around like a hyena or something else.
Yeah. Even if you're a lion.
Yeah, just,
It's the attitude, basically. The awareness of being that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wow, I like that.
Exactly, because everyone will see you as a lion, but they don't understand. So that's the first thing. Unless you come to the knowledge of understanding of who you are, you'll never operate according to the person of who you are, right? So when I first came to that knowledge was me going back now into, once again, the school and what they were saying to me. And it was like, if you can turn that around, you can turn anything around.
Wow.
Second thing I learned that I was able to discover, it's not just knowledge now, coming to the acceptance of who you are.
I like that.
Knowledge is one thing.
Wow.
Knowledge is one thing. Acceptance is another thing. Acceptance requires you to actually embrace vulnerability.
Yeah.
Because
like
you have to accept that your ears are a certain way, your hair is a certain way.
I
right?
do.
Exactly. You
I like
can
it now. I look good. You know.
Do you understand? So imagine being in a community of which, like, because the reason why I say that is because your purpose is unique to you.
Yeah.
Right?
I like that.
But then if you look externally and try and look at who else is like you, it will cause you to be very feel very timid and vulnerable and feel like you don't belong out there if you don't embrace who you are. But when you embrace who you are, you come to realize that you've got a space out there as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. So number one was coming to knowledge. Number two is coming to embrace who you are, which is even acceptance, which is even, you know, more durable than knowledge. And number three is intensifying who you are.
Oh, wow. How do you describe that basically for people?
Intensifying. Now that you know who you are, now that you know, let me say you are a screwdriver.
Right.
You will no longer be jealous of a hammer because you understand the purpose of a screwdriver.
Oh, right. So that's why most people out there are jealous of other people because they don't really.
The thing is,
you got a different purpose.
Exactly.
Why you look at that way?
You're born to be a screwdriver, and what you're doing, because you're in a community where there's different tools, there are hammers, there's different things, there's a mallet, there's so many other things. So you look at all the other tools, and then you think, why am I not like a hammer? Why am I not hammering nails into a house? But it's like, no, that's not your purpose.
No, that's not my purpose. I'm unique to my purpose. I stick to my purpose. Wow.
So now you intensify and skill yourself even more in the area of being able to screw and drill very well.
I believe you already gave out there everything that I was supposed to and I was working on. And you just listen. Wherever you are in your life, at whatever stage, you can reach out, Greg, to guide you through this process, right? It's a process, basically, right? It's understood. But now it comes up how he doing that, basically. And I'd like to ask you, when first did the passion or intention of becoming a coach started?
Yeah.
And how did you do that?
I think for me, that started when I realized that a lot of people were coming to me for different things and, you know, for advice. And a lot of people saw me to be inspiring. I didn't even see that. Like, remember, I just wanted to be quiet. I just get on with what I do. That's the type of person I am. But because I saw a lot of people asking me questions and wanting to, you know, understand a little bit more. From there, what I did is, I remember I just used to work hard and do a lot of overtime. And someone contacted me and said, Greg, you know what, there's a lot of quality to you. And I think, you know, like, you need to focus on reinvest in something that would actually be meaningful down the line. And he asked me, have you thought of reskilling yourself? And I said, no, not really. I'm just working hard. And he's like, look, you need to reskill yourself because we need more young men who are worth something later on. And then I was like, okay, cool. So 6 months went down and I didn't do anything. And then he called me and said, Greg, have you started any courses yet? And I was like, okay, cool. I need to start something. So I went online and I saw the course, which was life coaching. And, you know, when I read everything about it, it was everything that everyone else was telling me I was actually doing.
Wow.
So then I was like, all right, this is easy.
You already coached before getting the certificate.
Exactly. So I was like, let me do the course. I did the course, finished it pretty quick, got my diploma, got my certificate. From there, I started my business, which was New World Coaching. New World Coaching, because I believe that, you know, when you come to the idea and understanding of the knowledge that there's more out there, it now takes you outside of your world into a new world. You now discover a new world, you know? So that's why I said New World Coaching, is because people only operate as far as they know to operate until they know that there's a bigger world out there. When they know that there's a bigger world, it now becomes a new world to them than what they're used to. So that's why it's New World Coaching.
That's the way you started, basically.
So I started from there.
And how do you coach normally if someone would like to approach you basically for some help or coach? How do you work on online, offline? Do you have programs, sessions? What's the way you help people?
Usually there's programs that I do, but at any point in time, you can always contact me as well. And I'll be happy to kind of set them through that as well. And I'm sure there'll be links that you'll put out as well that people can connect with as well. But yeah, so I try and make it more exclusive in terms of the coaching aspect of things, because at first that was the only thing I was focused on. And then later on, what happened, I started doing a bit more public speaking. And from the public speaking, I went into doing a radio.
Yeah.
And then with the radio, then had my own radio show from there.
So things shifted a little bit, but still you stick to coaching,
Exactly,
right?
yeah. So I only do it for those
So
that...
it looks like you work on yourself and develop the character, right?
Yeah.
You're playing. Now, for a lot of people out there who like to maybe before they reach you out, or they don't reach you out, but how do you give us 3 steps to start to work on purpose, please? There are many young adults out there, let's be honest, let's face it, the millennials.
Yeah.
There are so many young adults that didn't find their purpose yet, right? Even they have one, they didn't find it, they didn't understand they're here like you did, like I did, for that reason particularly, and focus in that and develop it. Now, in 3 steps, if you could please share us, what would be some ideas of steps, of ways to start to work on purpose? I like that statement of viewers, work on purpose.
One of the things I normally say is an orange tree is not an orange tree because it produces oranges. An orange tree is an orange tree. It's because it produces oranges that it's an orange tree, right? So what it means is that what you are will naturally flow out of you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, a lot.
What you are will naturally flow out of you as well.
Yeah.
So it's just about you seeing some of the things that you've naturally done. You know, that's come normally. And by you identifying that, you'll be able to see now, because everything that you do externally or everything that is externalized tells you something about yourself.
Okay.
Yeah. If you've just got angry about something, it's not for you to look at as an external situation. It's like, what?
Yeah, that was just the factor, external factor. What was actually that?
Exactly.
Within me,
because the circumstances externally are only there to show you or introduce you to yourself.
Right.
They're only there to be a mirror. Every situation you go through is only a mirror. It's only going to show us what is inside of you, what comes out of you.
So the focus has to go within.
Yeah, within.
Inside.
Within.
Wow.
Within.
So the first step is this. To find out what do you have inside you, right? To understand if you are really, as you say, an orange tree or an apple, or whatever.
Exactly.
What you produce, basically, what you make. Wow, I like that. That's
exactly.
The first step,
so if you can't go internally
to
kind of discover that, then just look at the results of what you've been able to produce. So what has come out externally.
So you see what the results you have within your surroundings and environments, and then you can understand from there where you are, what do you have within you. Because you produce something or you create something around you, right?
Exactly.
Instead of words. That's the one way to measure what you have within yourself.
Yeah.
Which I like that.
And the things that people have told you that you do so easy. You know, things that people...
That would be the first step, like to look into it.
Yeah.
Like observing yourself, analyzing.
So you definitely have to do that. So by observing yourself, by analyzing and taking the time out, what I normally say is life leaves clues. Yeah. And I say that in a lot of the times when I go out there and do public speaking, life leaves clues. So what you have to do is kind of like look, as I personally did, I looked back at my life and saw what I was naturally doing. You know, I may not have seen myself as a leader, but when I look back at everything, I was seeing that was naturally there.
Yeah, the actions.
You know, being in the wrong environments and getting people to do the wrong things, the influence that I had.
You got the skill, you know?
Yeah, you know, it was there. You know, the business acumen, it was there.
It was there already.
You know, all of those factors.
So was the right thing.
Exactly. So it's just about looking back. So if ever you don't have the evidence around you right now, all you have to do is just look back. What is what you've produced naturally without you knowing, you know, during your childhood and things like that. And that will give you an indication. So once you have that indication, now it's now about embracing that and realizing that, it's okay for me to be different. Right. You know,
you have to accept that you are different.
You have to accept
be different, right? Otherwise, you're gonna struggle sabotaging yourself, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like I like the fact that you explain things so clear and straightforward. So everything starts within, from us, with us, basically, right? Because time is limited. I would like to go with you so much in there because I like the subject. You know, I like to speak about the purpose and how we do things and what we do. I would like to touch a subject that really I like it and matters to me. Tell us a little bit about your radio project. Tell us a little bit of the Simply Greg show, because I really like the name. I'm honest with you. Monday Inspiration Show is my show. Yeah. But I really like the Simply Greg show. What's it all about? Tell us a little bit.
Oh yeah, I had the absolute pleasure of having you on there as well, which was amazing. But yeah, the Simply Greg show is all about elevating the mind and inspiring the community by spotlighting the hidden gems in our community, and that's just ordinary people doing extraordinary things. So the way I like it is, like, for me, as always, I like being the individual who actually helps to make a difference for other people.
Yeah,
you know,
I like
as
that.
in, like, using myself as a platform.
Yeah.
I'm not about, kind of like supporting people who already have that infrastructure. My aim was to continue to speak to people and interview people who have a story,
I like
people who've been through a journey,
Have a
so that
message.
they can also show that you can turn it around just like I turned it around. Because it's one thing for me to share my story with you and show how I managed to turn everything around. It's another thing if I bring all my friends to show you that they've managed to turn things around as well,
Yeah, I like
right?
that. Wow.
Just to show you, and that point, it should give you the inspiration to know that whatever situation you're going through, you can turn it around as well.
Wow.
So they can always connect with us at any point in time, which I'm sure you'll put the link out Simply
Definitely.
Greg Show.
Yeah, definitely. We'll put it up there.
Yeah, and currently at the present moment, we just was on radio. Now it's going to be on YouTube, and you can find us on YouTube as
So
well.
it's a big project with a big vision, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, like the founder, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's face it, let's be honest. Now, at this moment in time, we're getting close to the end. I would like to ask you a very particular question that is close to my heart.
Yeah.
You are today who you are because obviously to the experience in your life, the person you had in your life, and everything what happened, what you created.
Yeah.
There is anyone in particular who would like to thank for your guidance, for guiding you, for supporting you, for investing in you. There is anyone direct or indirect who would like to thank? There is any name particularly for being impacted you so much, and then obviously for becoming the wonderful person who you are.
Wonderful. But first and foremost, I have to thank God. Obviously,
Thanks.
without that, we wouldn't have been a process. So it's a journey in itself, which is being able to make it possible and continues to cause me to grow and make more of an impact. And family and friends, and
Family and friends.
family and
God
friends have been,
first, isn't it?
that's
God
it, man.
first.
It wouldn't be
That's it.
possible
Simple as
without
that. I
it.
mean, it's straightforward,
It
isn't
wouldn't
it?
be possible.
Yeah, without that, wouldn't be here.
I
isn't
wouldn't
it?
be breathing.
Yeah, we will be living. Yeah, I like that. Thank you so much, Greg, for the value, for the inspiration, for everything you did to us, for your time coming here and inspiring in this show. I knew you're gonna not only inspire, you're gonna empower and educate us as well. Now, before we go into the end, where people can connect with you, give us a few links or platforms, or where actually people can get in contact with you through what you said and everything. You said.
Yeah, so currently at the moment, you could connect with me at Simply Greg Show on every different platform. So that is on Facebook, Insta, and also on YouTube as well. You can see some of our videos and previous interviews there as well. And you just go online and you can
Straightforward,
find me.
Simply
Yeah,
Greg Show.
Simply Greg
It's
Show.
the only one anyway.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
There's
So
no other Simply Greg
just go
Show,
for that,
right?
yeah.
That's the only one. Now, we come to the end, and I would like to invite you. This is very special to me. For young adults out there, for our listener, for everyone who listen to us, what would be an empowering message from your heart? What would you like them to take away from the show now? So tell them, send them a message out there, something that you have close to your heart that you think that will inspire them and help them in everyday life. And it could be anything. What you feel like.
I think one of the first thing I'd have to say is that know yourself. Know yourself, and also take the time out to investigate who you are. Because if you don't take the time to investigate who you are, what will happen is that you will allow yourself to be conformed by everyone else, right? And if you allow yourself to be conformed by everyone else, you will never reach the mark of what you are capable of doing. And that means you'll never get to fulfill your purpose of the reason why you're here. So know yourself.
Wow, no, so that's powerful. This is space, so you mentioned.
Yeah.
I believe this one resumed to all that.
And also to say it's not going to be an easy process just because you come to know yourself. It's not going to be an easy process. But the more you work on taking daring steps on being yourself, the more confidence you start to grow now in learning that it's okay to be you. Wow. Because what will happen is that you'll go through a journey where you get to know yourself, but then you find it difficult to allow yourself to shine because everyone else is totally different.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the problem.
Wow. That's powerful to know yourself. Yeah. Wow. I like that. I really like that. So thank you so much for being with us. Thank you so much for your time, for your inspiration, education, for your knowledge, and sharing with us all your life experiences. We wish you all the best in everything with you. We hope to see you again in the future with Monday Inspiration Show. Thank you for today, and thank you everyone for watching. That was Monday Inspiration Show. My name is Yono Tsunguriano, and I will see you next Monday with the next inspirational show. Until then, my friend, do your best, and remember always, live, love, dream. Thank you so much. Bye for now. Designed to inspire, educate, and empower young adults around the world. Welcome to the Monday Inspiration Show.